This is In Focus with the loving LeAnn for Inform Magazine, and we're here at the state capitol, and we have been able to wrangle Attorney Griggs. How are you? Is it morning still?
I think it's actually afternoon. I'm doing well, though. It's good to be with you here in the state capitol.
Absolutely, and we see that you have corralled with a bunch of other advocates, and I know that you practice criminal law. So talk to me about how you approach domestic violence, since it's running kind of rampant in Georgia, and a lot of women are losing their lives at the hands of their abusers. So how do you approach that? What does that look like in your practice?
Well, I mean, it's about advocating for changes in the law. As a criminal defense attorney, I deal firsthand with domestic violence cases. I've tried numerous domestic violence cases. Typically, victims actually reach out to me for help. Dealing with temporary protective orders or permanent protective orders, and then ultimately to defend against people who are alleged to have committed domestic violence who actually have it. So I've seen it on both sides. And what we do is we advocate with groups just like this one. I'm also the vice president of the NAACP, and we are very much concerned with domestic violence and pushing forward stronger domestic violence bills here in Georgia. So we're here in the Capitol. We're lobbying state reps and state senators, and we ultimately will talk with the governor about strengthening domestic violence laws here in Georgia.
Absolutely, and that's phenomenal. And tell me how in our community we're in smack dab in the middle of Black History Month, and with all these brown faces, and it seems like that we lead the way in a lot of the domestic violence. How do we tackle this within our own community?
Well, first we need to become real about the problem. We need to stop brushing the problem aside. We need to report it. We as men who have, significant others or sisters or daughters or mothers or grandmothers who are affected by it need to stop it. We need to first address the problem in the community, in the church, in the community groups, and then we need to say we're not going to stand for this as concerned allied men, and we need to make sure we hold those that are convicted accountable for their actions.
Absolutely. And while we're talking about, we know that we're here for women. This is for women, but we know domestic violence crosses lines. And a lot of times I think that our men are underrepresented and sometimes forgotten about. And that makes us not understand what domestic violence looks like. So talk to me on that. What would you tell your son dating a female that was in a situation of violence or just a control issue?
I mean, we have to understand that love is not supposed to hurt on one side or the other side. If you feel the need to put your hands on somebody, you need to leave that relationship. So, I mean, it goes both ways with men that are in an abusive relationship, with women that are in an abusive relationship, with our LGBTQ community that are in an abusive relationship. Love should not be painful. Love should be tender and compassionate and understanding, but not pain. So if you're dealing with a situation like that, first thing you need to remove yourself from the situation, tell someone close to you, make sure you report it, and take the appropriate steps, temporary protective order, permanent protective order, and then seeking criminal charges to make sure you remove yourself from that situation. That's how I would tell my son or my daughter how to handle that.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, I appreciate you stopping and speaking with me, Attorney Griggs. And just tell the people how we can keep up with you. We know that you're always working on something. So what are you working on right now? What's the topic right now that's got you up at night?
Donald Trump's what have me up at night. When we're talking about domestic violence, I mean, you have an individual who has alleged to have done it himself. So I think that we have to strengthen our laws. We have to make sure we hold our politicians accountable. We need to, on the local level, the state level, and the presidential level, make sure that American values are sustained. So what I'm working on right now, I helped the partnership here with the Atlanta March for Social Justice and Women, and we are now moving from a march to a movement to make sure that all civil rights are protected across the board. You can follow me on all social media at Attorney Griggs. That's Attorney Griggs.
Great. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. Again, we're here with Attorney Griggs here in the rotunda of the state capitol. This is In Focus with the loving LeAnn for Inform Magazine.